Pipes, my man, what's up?
Hey, what's going on?
Nothing much. Another day, another dollar. Figured we talk some
Had
charts
some
here.
had some good trades today, man.
Today was
Yeah,
great.
it was.
Today was really, really good. I
It
was
didn't.
extreme.
There were some shitty chop zones that I called out in the room, but there were some really nice levels that played out. As long as you weren't on the smalls, the smalls would have chopped you up heavy.
The smalls would have killed you today.
Yep.
Sure. But yeah, we can definitely go over that a little bit later. But first things first, let's talk about kind of what's hot right now. And honestly, what's on my mind, it's probably on a lot of people's mind. And you and me, first, I'll just put it to you like this. I've been in crypto, as you know, for both the pumps, but I really got into it big time when I met you.
Oh yeah.
And you kind of you just, you made it my world, which was awesome because we made a shit ton of money on it, which was
Yep.
a lot of fun. So you and I both have been kind of, sniffing the bottom for a long time, and we've been waiting to kind of allocate some funds, and we've kind of bought some things here and there piecemeal, but we're by no means where we should be as far as loading our bags, right? And we have talked about multiple times that even with the altcoins where they're at now, I mean, you're looking at 10x opportunity all over the place, right?
Right.
Well, now we've got this huge pump that just happened with the Bitcoin ETF news. And it's interesting because I wanted to discuss it with you because, from a charting perspective, I mean, it almost feels like we missed the damn thing, right? Like it really does, except for we're in huge resistance right now, which could or could not, be the tell sign. And we'll obviously show the chart here shortly.
Yeah.
I keep looking at a lot of these other charts. There's some altcoins that look great, but the majority of them still look like trash. So usually when things are grooving and jiving and everything is starting to get bullish, they all look bullish, right? It's kind of like, the rising tide raises all ships. But I just not getting that feeling, even though Bitcoin's going berserk. What do you think?
So I think what's going, at least in my mind, right? What's going on is we've got the altcoins aren't doing anything, right? You got the runners, right? So there's Link and you, there's several that have run, right? Especially this week. There's several that are up. I was actually pulling up my list here to look at that. But what I think is going on is, so if you look at the Bitcoin dominance, obviously Bitcoin's king, it's gold. It's I think what's going on, you're not really seeing any increase in the market cap, total market cap of crypto, but you're seeing the transition out of the altcoins into Bitcoin because Bitcoin is so strong, right? So I
Okay.
think it's that Bitcoin dominance. If you think of like risk assets, right? So traditional markets, whatever, if there isn't liquidity, that money comes out of that riskier asset. So your altcoins are the riskier assets. I think it's fleeing. The ones that haven't left the market are fleeing to Bitcoin. That's what I think is going on with it. That's what I think is causing this pump.
I just went ahead and pulled up the Bitcoin dominance chart just since you were discussing it.
Yep.
I'll just keep put on a monthly time frame here. But you know, I mean, usually when Bitcoin dominance is at the lows, we're at the peak, and when it's at the highs, it's vice versa. And things are just crazy. So I just wanted to, kind of, because you were talking about this, I
Yeah.
wanted people to see exactly what you were inferring to, which is Bitcoin now is basically 54% of the, what is it, $1 trillion market cap or whatever it is.
Right.
Yeah. So your thought process behind this is that Bitcoin is essentially stealing the show,
It's
and
safety, right?
yeah, it's safety, right? And so the other coins are not performing based on that. Is that what you're?
Yeah, and you have the one-offs, right? So there are some that are running based off the
Mhm.
news, whatever. I'm surprised XRP hasn't because it just hit another court hearing that it was beat the SEC on. So, but if you look at Sol, it's up. Link,
All that?
Rune, which I know Rune's one of your babes. Matic, so some of those I don't want to call them blue chips, but they're not shit coins.
Yeah.
They've got real use case, and some of it is going there as well. But I mean, one way to look at like what's going on with the coin is to look at the BTC pairing. So let's bring up Link on a USD pair.
Okay.
That is
Yeah. Sure. Where we at here? Link. Here we go.
yeah.
So Link
So
Link had like this huge like year and a half.
50% pump. Yeah.
Well, look at this accumulation
Oh
rate.
yeah, ridiculous, right? Yep.
Yeah. Insane.
Now pull it against the BTC pairing.
Okay. Let's see. Link coin pair. Here we go.
So
Okay.
it's that's one of your ones that's gaining, right?
Yeah, it certainly started to, form a bottom here. At least it
Yeah.
seems like it anyway.
So look at ADA Bitcoin
Uh,
now, right?
gotcha. Yeah.
So is that's a good comparison. That's really a true risk asset, right? It's not a blue chip, but it's a high market cap coin. It's got a lot of devs behind it. It's got some real world use case for it. But Link, some of these other ones that are running, either they've had news around them or that huge accumulation on Link was ridiculous, right? So
Yeah, it was
it
insane.
wasn't going down, it wasn't going up. It was just kind of meandering around in that same spot forever.
You literally would have bought this and your money would have sat still for a year and a half.
Right, exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
So
Which I
now,
mean, this accumulation phase, and I know that this is a much more extravagant, but back in I think it was the 70s or 80s, gold did the same thing where it went sideways for like 10 years. I think oil did too. And it was like $10 a barrel. And then it literally, when it came out of this phase, it went to $150,
right.
right? That
Yep.
was the highest that we know is for now. But this is the same kind of phase that we saw then. Now, granted, it was over a course of years, but still,
Yeah.
right?
And as you look at accumulation, that looks odd from an accumulation point, but that tells me that there wasn't an interest in altcoins, right, from that period of time.
Right.
But they were saying this is value, right? So it's not going down below it. Nobody's selling. So there really was no market for Link until we popped here. Now we've popped along with Bitcoin, but the other altcoins. So when you say have we missed the mark or the bottom of Bitcoin, maybe we still have opportunity in altcoins, but until that Bitcoin dominance comes down and we could chart that and look at that. But I think that you're going to see more of the same. The altcoins just sit, right? Except for the one-offs. You're going to have some
Yeah,
that
but
liquidity
like
gets
so
pulled into
so
those.
speaking of that, like check this out. So this has always been a major cap coin, right? We've seen this go
Absolutely. Yep.
$50 many times,
Yep.
right? It's every time it reaches some sort of market cap, this big news comes out because it can't ever seem to exceed it. I can't remember what it was, but long story short, now here we are. Here's Dot, and this thing is under $5.
Right.
No, and this was supposed to be the Ethereum killer, yada yada yada. And
Yep.
this is a legacy coin. This has been around since basically I started looking at crypto
Right.
7 8 years ago, and it's not doing shit,
Nope.
right? And so it's just interesting to me. Then you got Litecoin is starting to get a little
Same.
baby pump, but it's still
Yep.
the same thing. It's nothing exciting, right? And then you've got Matic, which Matic had this monster pop off during what everything else was shit in the bed,
Yep.
right? And so now we're sitting down here and Bitcoin's going, and yeah, it popped a little bit. Don't get me wrong. I mean,
Mhm.
50 to 60 cents is 20% pop. It's not,
Yeah.
anything to smirk at, but it doesn't look anything like Bitcoin,
Think
right?
of Matic, Optimism, Arbitrum, so the layer two solutions under Ethereum. So Ethereum is your other blue chip, right? So if you pull up an Ethereum USD chart, you'll see it's pumped as well. So it's supporting coins would be doing the same.
Makes sense. Okay. But okay, so I read tonight that um apparently, and again, this is from what I understood, I was reading on the way here, that the ETF for Ethereum had already been approved.
Oh, I didn't hear that one.
Yeah, so if that's the case,
The
then
spot? Yes.
yeah, I'll
Oh,
send you the link and
yeah.
I
I
saw it
didn't
on my
hear that.
yeah, I'll send it to you when we're done, but maybe I misunderstood, but either way, I mean, the pumps are just, again, I often wonder if this is, I'm just gonna so how we chart. For us, this
Yeah.
is huge monthly resistance.
Oh,
Here's our
yeah,
other one, but
absolutely.
this is really the main one because it's the leg to the high, right?
Yep.
And then when you come over here on the weekly time frame, you can obviously see that. I mean, this was massive. You got these wicks here. I mean,
Yep.
this is big. So
It's
my
big, but look what you gained also.
I know. And
Yeah.
that's the other thing, right?
That's
So look,
what's
so I hid the weekly, like check this out. So here's this is kind of crazy, right? So this was the weekly leg to that high. We
yeah.
smacked it, sent us all the way down, but now we're above it
You got support. Yeah.
big time. And not only that, let's assume that doesn't play. Dude, this is untested now too.
Hmm.
And it's monthly. So you got a weekly and a monthly, or two weeklies and a monthly here. I mean,
It's not going to fall out of the sky right now.
no,
So
no, it's not. No, it's not. And what's crazy, and I'm not embarrassed to admit that. A lot of people were waiting for 11,000. BTC 7,000. Yeah, I
You
mean, we
know,
were all,
you know
you
our
know,
spot. Yeah, it's
of
been
course, right
that
here.
spot for 2 years. Yeah,
Yeah, we've been waiting on 14 grand, until we were blue in the face. You know what
yeah,
I mean? So we've been waiting on 14 grand since it was up here.
I know.
It's unfortunate, and I won't get into it now, but there was a weekly in here that came from the support from the structure here that we just flat out missed. And really, I hate to say I missed it. I really just saw this perfect
Right.
time here,
Yep.
and this is what I assumed we would really, come down and just play really well. But it is what it is. So with that
So
being,
pull up the market cap. There's a chart for market cap. If you just do a search, do you already have it up? Or do you have the
maybe let's see market cap. I don't. Why don't you tell me how to look it up?
just start typing on the screen, just
Okay.
market. Yep.
Oh,
You're in
like
crypto.
BTC.
Yeah. Oh well, it's not. It's gonna be all market cap. It's like market cap 3, market cap 2, and 1. There's different.
Okay. You said under crypto.
Or maybe to put in cap. I already. That's done.
Which one am I looking at?
It's total. Yeah, total right there. So that's total market cap right there. Yep.
Okay.
So as you see, we really, and you could do an overlay on that. We really haven't pumped any additional money into the market. I guess that this is what's supporting my thesis is no real
Okay.
new money's come into the market. That now that ETF, there was a scare on that. There was fake news that came out of it. Everybody jumped in and said, "Oh my God, here it's here. The Bitcoin spot ETF, boom, that's going to be huge because you've got uh, retirement funds, IRAs, all the investment folks can now get into that space, right? So that's going to be huge when those come in. That's why when you said um, uh, ETH spot, Bitcoin's it's the front runner now. I'd be surprised if that happened, but once Bitcoin does, this is what you're going to see when it is approved. Because BlackRock, Fidelity, all the big boys are in that, and they're going to get their clients into it, right? So that this pump is off of that as well. But really, if you look at it, we really haven't injected a lot of money in it. What point or 100 billion or something
Oh
like
no,
that?
you're right. It's been right around a trillion for a long time.
Right.
And so they've put a 200 million into the system
Yeah.
basically, or I'm sorry, I guess it would be 200
Billion.
billion.
Yep.
Either way, I mean, in comparison to where we were at, I mean, it's peanuts,
Oh yeah,
right?
nothing. Yeah, I mean we're over $3 trillion in the market at the high.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. That if no new money's coming in, that means people are coming out of risk assets into Bitcoin, and Bitcoin dominance is up. So that tells me where that's going. And you're going to have the one-off coins, right? The Ethereum's a blue chip, so you've got all those supporting Matic, Optimism, Arbitrum. You've got Link, right? So there's some one-offs to that. But if you look across the board, it's not the case for the altcoin market. Now, at some point, you know, it this will happen, right? So we'll have an altcoin run again, or an altcoin bull market, and
Right.
we'll be making back. But Bitcoin, I'm looking at that support, and it's like, man, are we too late for Bitcoin now?
Dude, I feel like it. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, I did buy some down at 20 and 17, but I mean, I wanted to buy a couple Bitcoin down there, what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And just hold them forever. And
Right.
I maybe have a half of one, which is, nowhere near where I want. I've been kind of layering in, just thinking that we were gonna, but it is what it is.
So
So
I don't think we missed the bull run. Bitcoin, just because of what we gained, that's what's scary. It's going to take a lot to dump
dude,
on it.
it's going to take a lot for that thing to come down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
If it even ever comes, I'm trying to actually let me hang on one second. I'm going to send you this, and this is not what I saw, but I just did a Google search real quick on my phone. I wanted to show you this. And maybe you've seen this already. Maybe I'm looking at the wrong thing. I actually sent it to you, but I'll pull it up here.
No, I got it.
So
Brochure.
here's right here. Here you go. Put on the screen. So this is supposed to be the first ETF for ETH, and yeah. So they approved, from what I gather, they approved the ETH ETF before they did the Bitcoin ETF. From what I understand, maybe I am incorrect in reading this, but this is what it looked like to me.
Oh,
So
you'll have to do
kind of
some
interesting. They
research.
have linked ETFs. So you have a Bitcoin and Ether equal weight strategy. So I mean, clearly this stuff is coming to the masses, and we've been talking about this for a hell of a long time
Yeah.
because they've denied this ETF, I don't know, maybe 10 times. I mean, it's funny that it took BlackRock, it seems like, to
Yeah.
actually get this done, which I guess shouldn't be a surprise
Oh,
considering
it's not. They're
they own the
yeah,
world,
they,
right?
they do own the world.
So, so
So
that,
yeah, so ProShares, right? Obviously, that's a huge ETF, but there have been Grayscale's got an ETF,
yeah,
but it's not spot, so it's not tied to spot. And this,
okay,
I don't see spot in anything in this language, so I think it's just another, like a Grayscale ETF as well.
I got you. Okay, all right, maybe that's the case. Okay. So anywho, all right. Well, so yeah, I mean, this is yeah, I think that we missed essentially the potential bottom on Bitcoin, at least for now. My issue, like we said with this, is even if we smack from here, we got to deal with 30. And I'm just going to kind of break it down to a smaller time frame so you can see what's up. But dude, even if we were to lose 31 and 30, you have another monthly and a weekly down here at
Yeah,
27. And this is even better than all. I mean, look at how huge this is, right? So I really wanted to get super long right in here where these weeklies and monthlies were. And as you can see,
right.
they kind of skated them twice. Like,
Yep.
oh, you little bastard.
Get down there.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I know they played this one
And really,
great.
that leg end down there is still.
This,
No, I guess that is the leg, and I guess that the progression down on
yeah,
that monthly.
yeah. Are you talking about down here?
Oh no, to the right.
Oh yeah.
Look at the W at the bottom coming out of that W on that impulse.
Oh, this touch here.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
I know it was perfect, right? I know that was it was over with. They even made a new high there. And
Yep.
anyways, yeah. So again, like I said, I was kind of tinkering around. I went through a few coins. I mean, we've been talking about STX. This was kind of our radar the last run because this was one of the coins that you can actually use to stake Bitcoin, and they pay you in Bitcoin, which we liked. I believe this was also a project that what's his name? The dude Valatic or Vlatic, whatever his name is, the ETH guy that
Oh
invented
yeah,
ETH. He was all about this project because it brought smart contracts to for Bitcoin.
Bitcoin.
But again,
Yep.
I mean, it got its pump, right? Okay, it got a pump, right? It's not huge. Here's your XRP, right? And yeah, I mean, it's working its way up. It's just, like you said, it's just kind of, here's XLM, which is now owned by MoneyGram. And we know that this is a XRP competition. And, these people have never had any issues with anything as far as security wise. I don't see why it won't come down here yet.
Right.
Right. So it makes me almost believe that, like, I mean, it'd be kind of crazy if that Bitcoin ETF didn't get approved. Just so happened at the monthly, right?
Right. Yeah. Right.
I mean, I would love that. Honestly, I think it'd be great because
Yep.
I have, I'm a maxi, and I know you are too, as far as ETH and just crypto in general. And I don't give a shit how low it goes, and I still believe in it. I'm buying it, right?
Yeah.
So, I really want the buying opportunity, and kind of like you said, I mean, did we miss it in Bitcoin? Maybe. I know we didn't miss it in altcoins, but it
Right.
seems to me that altcoins still have more room to go down.
They do. Yep. And if the dominance continues to go up and money bleed, risk assets, altcoins, shitcoins, they start to bleed the Bitcoin, that's just going to escalate or fuel that fire. And I know we're hitting that monthly on Bitcoin,
Right.
but until we really see money coming into the market, that's what's driving the pump in Bitcoin. At least that's what makes sense in my head.
It makes perfect sense. Yeah. And I like the idea of people rotating their, that thought process about rotating the alts out because I never thought about looking at the market cap.
Yeah.
And so that makes perfect sense.
And think about traditional markets and yields on bonds. I mean, people are going to safety. And I think you said it last week. You're like, well, who's right? Is the S&P right because we're coming down? Or is Bitcoin right because it's going up? Well, Bitcoin's a risk asset. The altcoins are even more riskier than that. That
Right.
tells me Bitcoin's wrong, right? Well, unless we've hit the bottom. Well, you can talk about that later. But are we at the bottom on SPY too, or S&P or SPX? What do we want to
I
talk
think it's
about?
a good conversation. I mean, what I'll do is when we're done here, let's just pull it up and kind of, go over it because you and I both think that it's a big potential that we can come a lot lower.
Right.
But we are in a do or die situation right now with this thing where it's either going to hold here and start to regain, or it looks like 4190. So, as you know, it feels to me like we've had a disconnect between Bitcoin and the S&P over the past, I don't know, 6 or 8 months.
Right.
Whereas you and I even did a video previously showing how, dude, it was like tick for tick. Remember, we had
Correlation. Yeah.
yeah, it was like it was the same asset. It was almost
Yep.
like why invest in one or in both when you could just trade one.
Yep.
So but now I feel like that is completely disconnected. I mean, here we have the S&P falling out of the sky, and Bitcoin is, reaching for the moon. So it's nice because finally we have two different assets, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So here's something else I noticed too. I just want to kind of show you this. So here's Sol, right? Which I have no idea why this is pumping because this is a Sam Berkman coin, right? And in all opinion, I think this thing should be zero, but I know
Right.
there's a pretty big dev behind this and the whole 9 yards. So I get it. I just don't understand, but I kind of understand. So, anyways, this is truly the leg down,
Right.
right? This still is very much untested, and it's funny because I when I got to looking at Rune, because this is my
Yeah.
boo, like I've been preaching about this. This has still got a nasty high lost up here too.
Right.
So just because we're getting this big pump, and granted, I'm in it from 90 some cents, you know, this may be it. So I'm like
Right.
starting to wonder if like all these coins that are pumping, they're clearly coming into some high time frame resistance. Bitcoin is already at the high time frame resistance. You and I both know that when Bitcoin has this massive pump, that altcoins don't move until Bitcoin's done. And then when Bitcoin chills, then the altcoins will ramp or do their thing. So like if Bitcoin just sits up here at 35 grand, my assumption is a lot of these coins that are, like this one, they'll start to get their little fuel, and then we'll kind of start bumping into untested ordeals. And I don't know if you saw this, but Link, this is another one for Link. Like, look, this
Yep.
is still the leg down for Link. I mean, yeah, we're
Right.
accumulating, but we haven't gained.
Nope.
So
No, exactly. That's the leg down, and we made new lows off the
we
previous.
did.
So it's yeah.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. Yeah, we did.
So and for me, like the more analyzing what I really want to do. So risk assets, right? So we'll just say
There's Doge.
Rune,
Yeah.
Rune going to safety Bitcoin. What happens when Bitcoin goes down? Where do people go to?
I mean, I guess it would be USDT, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
USDT. So that's my next thing I want to look at is
Okay.
what does that chart look like? And there isn't one. It's you have to do some calculation in the when you do the lookup. It's like total market cap or three or minus
I saw it
USDT
right
or
here.
something like
Market
that.
cap dominance, whatever. Is this what you're talking about?
That's not it. That's because it doesn't segment out altcoins, and
Ah,
altcoins
okay.
is another safety, right?
Got you. Got you. Got you.
That for me
Okay.
that steps. It's okay. Hey, there's liquidity everywhere. Altcoins are going to pump. Bitcoin's going to pump. Da, da, da. Okay, what happens when Bitcoin runs out of buyers? The liquidity dries up. What happens to those altcoins, like you're saying, Rune or any of these ones that have those high loss setups?
Hmm.
When that happens, they're going to get crushed. If the money goes to altcoins or out of the market, even
Right.
they're in deep trouble.
Yeah, I agree completely. And it's funny that, now you got me looking at all these Bitcoin pairs, right? Like I'm literally going, they all look
They're all
terrible.
dead, right? Yeah,
Except for, I mean,
yeah.
Rune.
There's some one offs, right? But
Yeah,
for the
Rune
most
looks
part,
good.
they're
Dot looks terrible. Mana, Link looks okay.
well,
Oh, yeah, I probably need to chart some of this stuff. But again, you can clearly see that we're into resistance again,
yep,
right? So, I mean, look at XRP,
yep.
ADA, even ETH looks like duty.
It's all compared to Bitcoin, right? Because your
Yeah,
dominance
compared
is
to
going
Bitcoin.
up, even though it's a blue chip, right? And all
Yep.
if you took it on the USDT pair
Yeah, it
or
looks
what
totally.
any of your your altcoins, it's gonna look good. But you compare it to Bitcoin,
Yeah.
that's the
Yeah, I
big
know.
boy right now.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. So I appreciate you going over this with me because I don't want to say this keeps me up at night because it doesn't, but I am certainly a little disturbed over the fact that I mean I got a fill here, but I wanted to have way more of this.
Yep.
And
Yeah, we wanted some bags for the run up.
dude, for sure. And I was tweeting like, I don't know, it was like a month ago. I'm not gonna pull it up, but I even said I'm like, it doesn't matter what you buy is a 10x opportunity from down here.
Right.
And so I don't want to miss it.
Right.
Right. I mean, I don't, again, I'm not going to have FOMO and chase Bitcoin up here either. But
No.
at the same time, I mean, it's like alts aren't performing and
Yep.
Bitcoin is. What the fuck? Because
So
yeah,
think of back 17 any altcoin season. The reason that people go into altcoins versus Bitcoin is because it outperforms Bitcoin. So looking through the chart, you can see we still have an opportunity to get in some of these altcoins at the lows. I still, like you're saying, we got high loss. We can make new lows or at least test what we gain down there. So we've still got opportunity on the altcoin market. to get that altcoin pump or the
I
any of the
agree.
altcoin pumps. So
I agree.
we haven't missed that. It's Bitcoin. What's going on with Bitcoin? But for me,
Yeah, and just to kind of like back up that statement that you're saying, I mean, we've looked at a lot of this stuff right now, and I'm just going to use one as an example. Now we know this thing got hacked, and this
yeah,
project may or may not make it, but I'm just using this as an example. You know what?
right.
I'll just use Rune. You
Yeah,
know, for
Rune's a good one.
right. So we know Rune's going to be around for a long time.
Yep.
It's $2, right? And now I've played this thing many times, as you know. Pretty much all these pumps I've played. Even if it only went to $11, you're still talking about 5x.
Right.
Right.
Yep.
So, Bitcoin from here, a 5x would be 150 grand.
Yep.
Right. So I think we have a better opportunity of getting from 2 to 11 and then buying Bitcoin with our profits.
Yeah, you're going to transition it back out, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
You know how it works.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's pretty much what we do anyway, right? We make money in
Mm-hmm.
alts, rolled into Bitcoin or ETH, and then,
Yep.
it becomes our dollar. So, anyways, I just wanted to, you hit it right on the head. I mean, here's a crazy coin, and I actually started buying this. I don't know if I told you this. I got about not a lot, about $1,000 worth.
Uh-huh.
But we've watched waves, which
Always, yeah.
you might be like the use case, whatever. Okay, listen, I had $1,000 to burn, right?
Yep.
Wait, the way I was looking at it was I'm like, this thing has seen in multiple pumps $40, $34,
You
and
got a
60.
chart on that?
Yeah. Oh, my bad. Oh, my bad. I'm not sharing. Let me share this. Hang on. Sorry. I shut it down here. All right. Yeah.
Yep.
So, like,
Oh, okay.
look at this thing. I mean, it made new lows, right? Underneath the inception of this chart,
It
right?
kind of
So,
looks like Link, but it hadn't popped. That's what it reminds me of.
I agree. So I started buying this down
Yeah.
here. Like an average is like $1.50 or something,
Right.
right? And so, I mean, if this thing, like I was saying earlier, I mean, this thing has run three times to 42, 34, and $64. And this pump was during the Bitcoin crash,
Right.
which was crazy. I don't know what happened here. This is I don't even know, but regardless of the fact, right? So if I'm in from $1.50 and it goes to $30, like,
You just outperform Bitcoin.
yeah, yeah, exactly. From $1,000, right?
Right.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so I mean, I see opportunity here, and again, you and I usually always make sure that the projects have merits and they have worth, and
Right.
we tend not to throw our money at just a bunch of bullshit unless it's just altcoin season.
Especially Doge. That's my babe.
So for just to kind of let everybody know, you were one of the early bag holders of Doge before Elon came out smelling like a rose on that one.
Yeah.
So that was good for you. Here, let me actually find that. You were in that from sub a penny,
Oh
right?
God. Yeah. It was like, yeah. Yeah.
Because that thing had like quadruple zeros on it.
Yeah. It was ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah, it was all the way
Threw
down.
a
Yeah, yeah.
thousand
This
in
is
it or something.
this is back when I used to fuck with it, and I'll give you credit. So you got in it like here,
Yeah.
right? Like a penny or less than a penny.
Less than a penny. Yeah.
I remember being 6 cents, and you're like, bro, you gotta buy this. You got it. I'm like, I can't buy it. It's a meme coin, bro. I'm like, this is the biggest joke ever. Not only that, but it's unlimited supply,
Right.
right? Like this is never gonna go anywhere. And then you turned like $1,000 into 50 grand or something crazy. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah.
But
I remember the one that was on the pump, and I kept posting in the room like peeling another
yeah,
10,000 off, peeling another.
how could you not
I,
though,
I was
right?
just
Like,
ripping money off that market.
yeah, I know it was crazy. This
Yeah.
was unbelievable, an unbelievable move. And it's funny because like I said, I was in crypto from 2017, and Doge was simply just like an oscillator coin that
Yeah, it
the
was. Yeah, it was like a VIX is how they traded it. It was a total
yeah,
oscillator. Guys were just trading the tops and bottoms of it. Yep.
absolutely, because you could it just stayed within this little, I say little range, but
Yep.
guys that have a billion fucking coins because it was
Right.
fractions of a penny, and like Jack, Christ's sake.
Mhm.
That guy, I remember him saying that he had a whole Bitcoin's worth of like
Doge.
a Doge down here. I mean, he said he's like, oh, let's go buy an island. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Just
Crazy, right? Well,
fly
think
with
about
the
that
private jet.
Dogecoin millionaire, and he let it pump all the way up and come all the way back down on him. So you
It
got to
didn't
sell.
take
I mean,
any of
didn't
it.
take any.
What a dumbass.
Yep.
I mean, dude.
I mean, if you 100x your money, I
You
should
know
take
what that
some
is?
out.
That's somebody who doesn't understand the market. I mean,
Right.
I mean, again, I'm a goofball for not buying it at all. I'll admit that. But I still, as you know, to this day, I still haven't touched it because I know what it is,
Yeah.
right? So,
Well, that was what was the other one? Shib. Remember, we had somebody in the room that
oh
was all
shit.
about it. I got in it, but I was like, I'm done with this thing. I hate the coin, but I'll play the liquidity.
Yeah, absolutely. Here, let's actually take a look. It's been a long time since I've looked at
I
a
don't even know
game.
what that thing's doing. I made money on it and left it die. I don't
There's
care
nothing to
about it.
look at. Pepe was the next one, and
Oh, Pepe, yeah.
it did exactly
I
the
didn't
same.
get in that one, so
I
I
didn't
was
either.
asleep on it.
Um,
Yeah, so
but
Shib's
there you
dead.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I remember that I woke up one morning, 7 o'clock here, Eastern Standard Time. I know that the one guy was in it. First thing I saw, I looked at the chart. I was like, "Get
I
out."
remember. Yeah,
Yep.
it played that
I
you
was like,
called.
"High loss, get out."
Yeah, I remember that. Let's see. It was up here. Where was that? There we go. I think it was this trade right here.
Yep, exactly. Yep. Boom. I was like, "Get out."
It's time to go, boys. All right. And that was it. It was done with after that. Man, what a short.
Yeah,
You literally just could have been short for like 2 years.
forever. Yeah.
Look at that thing. Ugh, it's so gross. Ugh. Anyways, okay. Yeah, so the other one was Pepe. Again, let's see, where's Pepe at? I don't even know if I have Pepe in here. Um,
I
PV.
saw it pumped. It was on some watch.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow, it did pump.
Yeah.
Okay. This thing came down to the low,
Back
low.
where it was. Yeah.
Yeah. What's interesting though is if you take a look at this, and again, here I am snubbing my nose at 100% return, right? But that's exactly what it paid there was 100%. I mean, from 600 to 1200, basically, or no, 6,000 to 12,000 Satoshis or whatever. I have a hard time buying stuff like
Yeah,
this.
I can. I mean, after that, because that's it. If it's a shit coin, it pumps. You make your money, and you never look at it again.
It's just
I
over
did.
with after
Yep.
that. Yeah. So I have a really hard time buying these meme coins because it's like you said, you either in it from the beginning and you get paid, and then you never touch it again,
Mhm.
or you're the guy who gets in later after it comes down and then you just get wrecked.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Because like think about all the people that bought this dip, right?
Oh,
Right here. They're
yep.
just now back to break even.
Yep.
Terrible. It's terrible. So anyway. All right. Well, that's really all I wanted to talk about for crypto. I mean, one other thing. So we have talked. So you and I trade the S&P. We can talk about it. We don't have to talk about it. But one thing I do want to kind of show real quick is just because they've been a hot topic lately, and that's kind of the big tech sector, which is Microsoft, um, and Amazon and Google.
Right. Yeah. Bank
So
stocks. Yep.
yeah. So Amazon, had a really serious smack up here, and I'll just kind of this chart is not pretty, unfortunately, because I didn't plan on talking about this. It just kind of happened. But this was huge weekly resistance here that they got smacked off at once. They come up, they couldn't make a new high. Same
Yep.
weekly, sent back down. They just had earnings tonight, and I guess they crushed it. They apparently did 3 times better
Yeah.
than.
Look in your green spot down there. It'll tell you what percentage it's up. Yeah. Just click on it.
Oh,
That
there you
was,
go. Yeah,
yeah,
60%
60%.
surprise. Yeah, so huge, right?
Yep.
So what was interesting was, and let me show you on a smaller time frame. So they come up and they smacked our daily and forced new lows, and then they turn around and bought new lows in the overnight, and so we're pumping again. Now, I just
Yep.
want you to understand this weekly and this daily are untested, and this is a nice little swing here,
Right. Oh,
right?
absolutely.
So yeah, so it'll be interesting to see where we open and what happens, because as you know, Meta missed. No, yeah, Meta is it Meta? Yeah, Meta missed, and Google missed,
Google
and
missed. Yeah.
Microsoft hit it hard. But what was interesting about Microsoft, and again, you'll have to excuse my crappy chart here. I wasn't expecting to talk about this. Just gotta take this off of here. And we talked about this in the room. We called this trade out, for everybody. This is a massive weekly high lost area up here from the all-time highs. So they actually had earnings. They pumped. They come up and they played this. They were up in here, and I think they filled this gap up here. And then when they opened below this at this weekly, and they just gave it up. Now, this is kind of the spot where we'd be looking to target because we have a monthly here and there's an untested daily for this leg up. So I'd be flat here, with probably some runners if we wanted to go lower. That depends if we think the S&P is going to go lower. But it's really interesting because when you take a look at this trade, right, or take a look at this market, right? So we're essentially, look at that, dude. That's beautiful. Okay.
Yeah.
So we're smacking this here. This could really come down good. The only thing that reason why I say that this could be the spot is because this is progression off of a monthly weekly. We come up, we play the high loss, but now we pull back into support. So this is an extremely important spot for Microsoft. Okay.
Right.
So then we've got, let's just look at Meta, right? Meta, as you know, we talked about this a little earlier, or earlier in the room. They played the huge support that was lost up here, right? This was a ginormous pump, as you know. We were talking about how we missed this generational buy
Right.
opportunity.
Oh gosh, yeah, I know.
Hey, dude, just from $88 to 330. Ugh. So,
Crazy.
like they always say, when it's time to buy, you don't want to buy it, and that was one of I remember looking at this thing and saying, Jesus, they just lost all these legs. Like, where is this thing going? And then they just
Yeah.
whatever. So what's interesting about Meta is they came down and they played this daily leg down here, but there's no way this thing's going to gain.
Right.
Right. So, we've lost so much that I mean, I guess this could hold and they could come try to fill this gap, but this is in trouble too.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, I haven't charted this well enough, down to really look at it, but I mean, this is a really significant spot for this area.
Right.
And they've already popped up and they're starting to hit resistance again. And after if this doesn't hold, I mean, this thing, just by looking at this chart, and again, I haven't charted, but the next spot would be here and then somewhere down in here. And then of course you got a gap. So, so this thing kind of looks like it's in trouble. And then when you look at it from a broader perspective, just based on how you and I trade, I mean, this is the short, man.
Yep.
I mean,
Absolutely.
I wouldn't be buying this thing till we got down here. You can see I have an alarm down here,
yeah,
or even that way down here.
God, I would love that down there.
Oh, dude, I'd
low 100s.
I
mean, obviously sleeping in. So just making that new low. I think you called out something in the room today about making the new low. This could be it. And this is kind of like that same setup with SPY, right? That we blew that liquidity out and stops, and this thing could pump now. We could talk about that later. But I did drop something in the Discord direct chat to you. Just see if you can bring that up real quick.
Yeah,
because when we talk about these stocks, individuals, right? So we're looking at what percentage of the S&P, right? So this is the top 10 holdings of the S&P 500. These make up 30% of the S&P. So when Amazon pops, guess what? That's 3%.
Right.
So of the total S&P of weighting. So
yeah,
those are huge, right? Apple, Microsoft, Amazon. You got to look at this stuff, and when it beat on earnings and rips, you got to pay attention on the SPY.
Well, I don't know if you remember this. I mean, sometimes I catch you in the mornings and sometimes I don't. For the past 2 days in the morning outlooks for the ES, I've been talking about Microsoft because it is 7% basically of the indices, right? And I knew that we were coming off of that big ass spot, and I'm like, listen, if this thing gets smoked, they're going to drag this, they're going to drag this down with it, right? So this was kind of one of my leading, again, we haven't gained anything on the S&P, and so we know we were coming down. But I'm just saying this was, again, more reason for me to believe, like, hey guys, if this thing's going to dump, like you got to have a lot of other stuff make up for that 7%. Right.
Right. Because and if you look, and there's another guy that I follow, there's only a small percentage of the overall stocks in the S&P holding and the NQ, because a lot of those are cross.
Yeah, they're correlated.
Yeah. There's only a handful that are actually holding this thing up. They're bigger percentage, of that market. But if the other ones aren't holding the market up too, and these drop, that's what happened. Really, they didn't have any other broad market strength.
Yeah, I mean, just rough math. I just kind of calculated. I mean, the top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the top 8 are 25% of the move. Dude, that's crazy. Right. And so now Microsoft's getting, beat.
Yep.
Amazon is pumping, but again, it's only 3%, right? NVIDIA looks terrible. And then
NVIDIA's had its run. I mean, NVIDIA had its run.
I agree. Yeah. And and then we got Google, which has been getting beat, and Tesla too.
Yep.
So take a look at
I haven't looked at Tesla. What is it actually doing?
Let's take a look. I was shocked at Google, by the way.
Yeah,
I posted this in the room. Look at
Yep.
this amazing high loss. It was actually a monthly. Of course, monthlies have a little bit more give in
Sure.
it, but they came up here. I mean, dude, this is a huge smack. I mean, this is the highest untested because all this is white, right? So
Right.
this was literally the highest untested.
Yep.
Let's go to a daily so you can see this. I put it in the room for you, but since we got this, look at that. Nasty,
Yep.
right? So now we're down here into a weekly support. Is it untested? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. It's hard to say. But
Yep.
I technically would call it tested, but
Sure.
it's certainly good enough to where they might find temporary support here and pop back. But this to me, other than maybe just getting a relief pop, this to me looks like it's got more downside coming too in a long term, right? Long term. Maybe not tomorrow or the next day, right? But because the move's already been had here. This was huge. I mean,
That's yeah.
that
That's
is massive.
yep.
The other big one, I think we were just talking about, I don't know, what was it? We talked about Google. Oh, NVIDIA real quick. Let's see. Yeah, I mean,
Yep.
so
This
I was,
thing's ready to die right here.
dude, I was posting about this. This was this huge weekly,
Yep.
right? This was an earnings play. Boom. Right. And then they came down and this is wiped. I mean, this thing's getting ready to get fucking
I
nailed.
say die, but yeah, I mean this thing had a crazy run up, but
I mean, tell me
off
why
the
it can't,
highs.
it
Oh,
needs to
it can
come back.
absolutely come. Yep.
If not in here, probably gap fill, but at least a 325,
Yep.
335, somewhere in there. I mean, this
Yeah,
is
there's a guy that trades, SPY, ES, whatever, and he was calling out 4 hours, that we had a gain. And I'm looking, I'm like, you got to look what's going on in the market. Like,
right.
this is not supporting your thesis,
Yeah, I know. So, I have been on the you and I both know when we keep saying in the S&P that, we haven't gained, we haven't gained, we haven't gained.
Yep.
We keep coming into these big areas and we're still looking for more down until we can gain something. But at the end of the day, I mean, we've been coming down for a long time. So it's like, we know a reversal candle is due soon, right? It doesn't necessarily, I mean,
Could be a relief. Yeah.
let me rephrase that, a relief candle, not a
Yep.
reversal, right? So we know it's due soon. So as I look at some of these other products, like we were just talking about Google, I mean, it's kind of in the spot, right?
Yep.
Where it could find some relief. I think the S&P is kind of in the spot or could be in the spot, just depending
Right.
on. But like you said, all these, when I look at these stocks, they're scary, right? Because it just looks like more down to me, honestly.
Yep.
And
And if you
again,
did a broader look on I've seen the analysis. I haven't done it myself, but if you don't have broad market support and drive, and these are the ones that are really moving the market or the S&P, and they go down, things in trouble.
look at Apple.
Yep.
Not good. Now,
No.
I mean, this is coming into a gap fill here. It looks like we have a daily right here. I don't know if it's tested or untested, right? Because
Right.
just looking at it with you real fast. But again, we do know that there is monthly here, so this might be a good place for us to get a little relief, right? Pop back up, come smack something, and come down farther. But just in general, this thing looks like it could potentially be in trouble too. Now,
Yep.
it's pretty obvious that there's some big support in here, but I haven't charted enough to know what's untested and what's not. But this doesn't look great.
Well, I'm looking at that progression leg off the lows, and I mean, we have
Yeah,
then.
I like this. So as you can see, I must have wiped all the drawings at one point, but the alarm is still down here.
Oh,
So there must be something super sexy down here because there's still an alarm at 137. So
you know
we'll
what
see.
I'm looking at right there. So
Oh, of course. Yeah.
if it hits, I'm in.
I mean, these are the type of buys down here where you get in, you just forget about it.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's kind of, I don't know, man. That's probably if you want to look at the S&P, we can look at the
I like
S&P.
SPX. I like
Sure.
the
Yeah.
SPX, but
Yeah. That's the real deal. So let's take a look at that
and
instead.
that's I know it's been a while now, but I was calling for that daily to lose. I was like coming down 200 points, and I've been pushing
Yeah.
that 4100 for a while now.
Let me go ahead and get rid of some of these the BS stuff here.
Mhm.
Actually, let's go ahead and clip all this. And, there we go. So here you go. So here's SPX. I mean, just from a weekly, let's just go to a weekly,
Yeah.
right? This thing is not good. Right? So,
No,
I
if
mean,
we get sucked back into that leg, we're coming down that leg end.
oh, here?
Yep.
Oh, absolutely. And this is probably where we're headed anyway. It's 39.50s, 39.65. It's actually the same exact price as what I'm looking at for ES.
Yep.
I don't know how or why it is. Must be a rollover thing, but yeah, I mean, this to me, I mean, we are back underneath this leg to the low here.
Yep.
They back tested this weekly almost perfect. This thing should just puke. Um, Again, I know we're kind of in a significant spot right now, and I'll just draw it for you and everybody else here. This is a monster weekly. So again, that's why I said we're kind of in a spot with SPX where this is a do or die location. You either hold this and you get a relief rally,
Right.
right, just to smack again, or we gap down underneath this and this thing's just going to peel off.
Yeah, you get under that and you short
it. Yeah, right. Just write her down for 200
it.
points. Because this is where we're coming. I mean,
Yeah.
it's pretty obvious. So, I mean, this would be a gift, but I think this is where we get a serious reaction from.
Yeah, that I know we've had conversation. We won't go into it about ETH and RTH, but for me, and I mean by experience that SPX levels are sexy, and that's RTH levels.
To be quite frank with you, I would like to run a little experiment with you, maybe where I don't know, maybe you and I should take a week or two and stop trading ES and trade SPX and see if I mean you and I, first off, for those who don't know this, Piper and I trade the ES pretty much every day. We trade it for income, but we look at SPX at the same time. We chart it the same. We look at it the same. Oh, SPX is coming into a level. Okay, cool. Looks about the same with ES. All right, cool. Let's take it. Like for us, SPX is God. It's the boss. So a lot of times we'll say things like, "Hey, listen, I'm coming into a daily or a weekly level with SPX, but I don't have anything for ES.
Right.
Let's buy it."
Yep.
It's like, okay, let's do it. And it goes.
Yep.
Right? Because it's the boss. So, the rollover is so funky with futures that a lot of times you get price distorted and it just gets all stupid. And this thing plays true blue. So
yeah, I mean, that is what it is. I mean, that's there. Yeah, there's no rollovers. There's none of that stuff with them.
Yeah, this looks pretty rough, man. I mean, this is the spot.
We're here, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I was telling people before, I'm like, really 4,200 was it. And then once we got under, I think it was, I could probably turn on some of these, but I'll just kind of put my cursor here. I was really looking at this 4,225, 4,200 area. Like, if we get underneath this, it's over with. And we pretty much are. And now we're kind of
4,220 was our spot, remember, for the pop.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yep.
There you go. Throw that on there right now. Oop. Oh, I meant wrong one. Yeah. 4,226. There. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. Held it. Fucking did their thing. Yeah.
Yep. And they came back down and got crushed.
I mean, listen, once they started to lose, and as you know, I mean, the whole time we were both saying, "Hey, this is going to make new lows, guys. Don't buy this trash," because we smacked from the support lost here. Why, if this couldn't gain, why would you buy it again?
Yep.
It's dumb. So instead, they made new lows, popped up, smacked the support line, came down. So, I mean, dude, and again, just look at this from a way that you and I trade perspective. This is now untested.
Yep.
So if they come back up here, 4,226 is going to get wrecked.
Yep.
Right. So I think this thing's in trouble either way you look at it.
Actually, that's what I've been waiting for the pop, the relief. That's what I'm looking for to happen. Is it come back up there and then get beat again.
Me too. And I think that we could be there now.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's certainly possible. Not saying that it's going to happen because you and I both know we still haven't gained. And guys, just so you know, when we say gained, Piper and I trade a method that we either gain support or we lose support. And so far, we have been coming down, as you guys noticed by looking at this chart, for weeks now, right? We cannot close higher than the previous, the previous high candle.
Yeah.
So again, this was the high candle, couldn't close a buy. This is the next high candle, wasn't higher than this. This is the next high candle, wasn't higher than that. This is the high candles, wasn't higher than that, and so on and so forth, right? So the way that we look at it, we can't stop coming down.
Yeah.
Right. So
you gain.
Yeah, until you gain, we're short, right? And we just short every pop. So it's kind of, I was telling somebody today, I think it was in the room, I said, I am done looking for longs.
Yeah.
I mean, it's over with at this point. I mean, I would rather miss a 50. I mean, I hate to say this, but I'd rather miss a nice pump because I know it's going to smack. You know what I mean? Like, don't worry, I'm going to get it. Don't worry. You know what I mean? So, Yeah. I have a strong feeling though, Pipes. I will tell you this. I have a strong feeling that short interest is so high right now
Mm.
that when they do squeeze, they're going to squeeze hard and
They're
they're
going to
going to
squeeze
shake
hard.
everybody out. They're going
Yep.
to go way farther than we probably anticipated to go,
Yes. No, I think so.
and then they're going to sell off. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I'd love for him to just hold this off the earnings, get up back up into that 42.20s, come back
Yes,
down, and
I agree. I agree 1,000%. That would be ideal. Yeah,
yep.
I'm gonna turn this on. So this is the other, yeah, 42.20s, 42.30s, 42.20s. Yeah,
Then we get back down to that monthly, weekly. That's when I'm putting my
down in here.
retirement account back into work.
Yes, this is absolutely 100% retirement account
Yeah.
level for sure. I know a lot of people are calling for like 3,100 bullshit. I just, for
I'll be
me,
buying to clear through that, but that's where I'm starting to get back in the market.
absolutely. And I'll just be frank with you. I mean, I know that you know this already, and I'm kind of saying this for the people who are watching this. Let me go ahead and hide this. Um, we lost our monthly support, but at the end of the day, for me, we are still up on a monthly
On a
time frame.
monthly, yes.
Yes. I mean, this is our next leg up, right?
Yep.
Right here. So for me, if this doesn't hold, then we have a big fucking problem.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Then you have to come down here and then you have to get back above that. So as long as this holds, this is tested, we can start to make progress. Actually, it's not. Look at that. 4305 is tested. Holy shit. So they could actually play 3950
all the way back up, yeah.
Come right back up here and smack this. Well, unless they wipe it first from one of our
could.
squeezes.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see what happens. I mean, it's hard to call it right now, but either way, this is the spot. I mean, if we lose this, then I'd be like, okay, it's over.
But I mean, you still got that weekly, because we know that monthly can bleed through, right? So I mean, you
oh yeah, absolutely. And I think more than likely this is probably untested down here. It's not. Wow, look how beautiful that played.
Dang, that was nice.
That was nice.
Wow, jeez, I didn't expect that. Okay.
No, me either. I actually figured it was untested. That was good. Yeah, so let's hope let's hope it holds. But I mean, it should. I mean, I would think anyway. Got some nice, look at this structure right here. All the it's closes. It looks good. Anyhow, all right, brother. So we don't get too off the beaten path. I think that was pretty good. So I appreciate you showing up tonight and doing this.
Yeah, sure thing, man. Yeah, good run through. Yeah, it was good to look at crypto again. Kind of get a
yeah. It is good to look at crypto. I mean, and just to kind of circle back from that. I mean, did we miss Bitcoin? Maybe. Will we ever see 17 grand again? I don't know. It doesn't feel like.
It doesn't, does it?
No.
We'll even go back to that. Did we ever come back and test that? Because we hit our lows. You got a leg start down there.
No, and look at his shoulder.
So, yeah.
I know.
So I guess there's my hope.
Yeah, I know.
There's no hope in trading, right?
You got this one, and you got this one, and then you got.
It's a long way down there, right? There's a lot of stuff has to happen.
It is. Yeah. I mean, this spot up here, this could be a serious problem for this thing.
Yeah.
Because you and I both know on a monthly standpoint, I mean, it has to go much higher than this. It'd actually have to come up here to gain on the monthly.
Right. Yeah.
But if you can't even get into this leg, if you get rejected from here, it is
over. You get stuffed, right?
It is absolutely over with. And you know how I do it. For me, this would be my target right here, which is 27.8 or 28.7. 28.7 would be one of my targets. So yeah, man.
Right here. Cool. All right, man. It was good talking.
Yeah, brother. Until next time. I'll see you tomorrow.
All right. Sounds good.
All right. Cheers.
Peace.